Welcome back to Social Media, and today we have with us someone who is well known to the public in Barbados, our very own Kemar Saffrey. Hail the people.
Hi.
All right, so we're gonna jump right in. So Kemar, just tell us a bit about yourself.
What is there to say? I don't know. I'm a kind of social person. Even though I don't like people so much, I'm still a sociable person with my group. I don't like crowds. As a person, just, a giver. I'm known for that. Just giving and taking care of people and being I could be the light in the room. I'm kind of a joker at times, even though a lot of persons tend to see the serious side of me, mostly because of the fact that you're a CEO or the fact that you're in a president. I see that calls for you to be, a little bit more firm, but most of my time I like to skin my teeth, make jokes, and just be a cool person. And that's just basically me.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, who probably have been living under a rock or something, so Kemar Saffrey is the CEO and the founder of the Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society.
Yeah, we rebrand now the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness.
Because I was looking at it there and I was saying, wait, is this the new name? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is the new name.
Alrighty. So before we talk about the business, just tell us a bit about your growing up. Did you grow up here in Barbados?
Born in Jamaica. Grew up in Barbados from the age of about 8 to now. So more of my life has been spent here in Barbados. Never been back to Jamaica, funny enough, but more of my time has been here in Barbados rather than overseas, rather than in Jamaica. So I grew up here.
You plan to visit soon?
I hope to get at least one visit or two visits in before, time pass or I get too old to go back or whatever the case may be. But I would like to do at least one or two visits.
Yeah. Ooh. Many people may not know, and I only found this out actually a few weeks ago when you posted it on Facebook. You're a twin.
Yes, nothing that I like to share. People always like to see the reaction. People like, yeah, you're the twin. I didn't know. I was shouting your brother, and he said this, he said that, and I was like, okay, right. So a lot of persons don't know the fact that I'm a twin. I really like to keep it that way. Just spread. I don't get a lash for he, but the whole idea is that people see us and they're shocked by the fact that we're twins. So that's pretty cool. Not cool being a twin, but I mean the reaction.
Yeah, because initially I thought it was 2 pictures of you until I...
Nah, I'm actually a twin.
So, has this always been your dream? Tell us how you got into this business. What motivated you to start?
Definitely not. It was never a dream. It was never a passion. It was never something that I want. Many times people have causes dear to their hearts. Like, when you're growing up, you may see abuse, and you may say, when I get older, I want to be able to help abuse women, men. Mostly, always reserve around women. You may want to help children. You may want to do it. And there's always childhood passions and childhood dreams that fuel some people's future. Mine was the opposite. I never cared to help homeless. I never wanted to help homeless. Never wanted to be a part of homelessness. I more wanted to do me. And, when I became a Christian on the 4th of October, you still kind of feel it tugging before, that you're being led to this direction because, everywhere you go, homelessness, it was in my face. You were seeing it, it was there, you were seeing buildings getting blocked off, people talking about homeless, you're always front so you kind of say, I want to do something about it, but not on a serious level. Like, are you really don't do something for the people? Use your young terminologies to say, your Bayesian dialect. Then people don't be a foolishness. Then people could be doing more for the people. So you use those kind of terminologies, but it was never on a serious level to say, yeah, you can get up and do something for them. So it was only when I became a Christian on the 4th actually, October 2009, I felt that real tugging, or that calling, I should say, to go do something for the homeless. And then from there, within a very short window space up to the 19th of October, I had a registered organization. So it was very quick, from 4th to the 19th, within the same year that I actually did something or registered a charity or move on. So that is how it kind of happened in a nutshell, and not necessarily like years of planning or really wanting to do this as a passion. I just wanted to do business in a lot of cases. That's what I like. That's where they started, and then that had to go on a back burner just to support this. Yeah.
So then tell us a bit more, how was that journey, like getting it from the initial idea or the tugging, you feeling like the Lord was leading you in this area, to what we know of it as today?
The tugging again, if because not being a Christian, you don't understand the tugging. You were just more so, for lack of a better word, just speaking out against what you saw. So if you saw homelessness in the paper where somebody block up an area where homeless used to sleep, then you would use terms like, why they block up that, why they didn't do this, why they didn't do that. And that is where most of the tugging came from, that the most of the tugging was on that end, and not so much the do something about it, but just complain about it, like the typical Bajan mentality.
Yeah.
Why they may do this, why they do that, why should they do this, should they do that. When becoming a Christian in Independence Square, this was when Andrea Harris had her crusade, and Donnie McCorklin, or I hope I pronounce his name right, came into Barbados. She did like the altar call, and I was just there with a friend, and I was like, I going down and just give my life to God. Because I was already dating somebody that was in church. You had 1,000,001 altar call at church, but you never went to any. So I was just there with a partner of mine, and then we end up just doing an altar call. I end up doing an altar call. I just end up being there at the right time in the right place, and just receiving the Lord. But then from there, being that you got Christ in your life now, the understanding became evident that this was what you were supposed to do. The things that you were seeing that were frustrating you, or you were commenting about or talking about, became more so reality.
Yeah.
That it needs to be done, and apparently nobody ain't doing nothing about it. So it left like if I was the body to do something about it. So then I end up being the person that started the society. But the journey for that was good, because I think I kind of understood early that, you know what, this is the work of the Lord. So as long as it's a work of the Lord, then the providing for the project had to come from Him.
Yeah.
So imagine I just started a business less than 6 months ago, and here is I hearing in my spirit, leave this job or leave this business to go and start this homeless society. And I was like, Lord, but I just spend money, desks and tables and chair. I ain't got no money to go and start another business. I ain't got no furniture, I ain't got no office. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get a call, hey, there's an office here that you won 15 months ago. Do you still want it? And I was like, huh? Forgetting that I had done a pitch for my business 15 months ago, and I only know 15 months later get in the office. Imagine the right time. And then when I saw the office, it didn't have anything in it, and I was like, geez, but Lord, you give me an office, but you didn't give me the furniture. And then somebody was like, yeah, well, somebody passed the same time, and was like, you don't have any furniture? They're like, no. And then a lady from Dillon, Amber Dane, decided to say, well, let me furnish you with stuff. And then I was like, okay, Lord, but I ain't got no computers. No. And I went down. So my journey was with, the Bible says, ask.
And it
shall be given. And I was just like, asking, and the asking was being fulfilled. The ask was being fulfilled. So that is basically how it built out. And then, just watching the journey, as in the fact that it is nothing to do with me, but to do with the Lord, and just a vessel being used. It could, and I just watch it, and every time I wanted something or wanted to go somewhere, as it pertains to carrying the business to the next level, I just asked, or the Lord already had plans in place that will use just the vessel that He can use. You may see the picture, a small flick of the movie, like the trailer, but you never see the complete picture.
That's
And as long as you keep faithful to the whole situation, it will play out how God wants it to play out. Sometimes it play out in my favor based on what you think I want it to be, but most of it play out in how God wants it to be. And sometimes things play out better than I anticipated, because when I looked at opening a shelter, I was like 30 people. Yeah, boy, no more than 30 people. Now, you could do close to 100 in a building at the level that is at. When I look at the building that I wanted, uh, um, even though I wanted this building ever since, the building I wanted was like that I saw, and because I feel I could not get this building, I went for another building, and I could only do the 30. And then, thank God for a hurricane, and I mean a literal hurricane, came and shook the building and showed me that that was not for
that
you.
wasn't.
And you say you rally when the storm, but that's the storm. That was a real storm. That wasn't just a fictional storm. That was a real storm. And then it brought me back to this same building that I always knew when I walked past it that it would be mine. I always wanted it. I had it up before I knew it was. I would have been in it for like 5 years. I've been in a building, this particular building, and God just know that this is what you want and this is what He wants as well. Even though I tried to go contrary by getting a smaller building, I didn't end up back with a bigger building, doing what the Lord have asked us to do, and being able to touch and reach those who we need to reach.
That's pretty good though, because a lot of what I'm hearing is all about timing, and then God just at the right time made the things available. Then too, sometimes I find that as time progresses, we may start to think, all right, maybe that thing might not happen, but if God is in it, then we serve a big God.
And I think once as Christians we understand, because sometimes we get up in things that we ourselves decide to get into.
Yeah.
And then we think it's God. And then we see struggles, or we see it don't work out and stuff, because sometimes we as human beings, we move faster or try to move faster than God. But once it's a God ordained thing, or once it's a God placed thing, then you recognize that the whole thing just fall into place according to His will and His purpose. So that is where the success comes from. The fact that it is something that God has purpose and has called you for in a particular time. Not saying that you can't always go off and do what you want to do, and God won't support you. But I find that when it comes to helping people, when it comes to doing certain things of what we call charitable work, into a large extent where you're looking to take it on, not just help out, is always something that I believe that you have to be seriously entwined with God, because the struggles that come with it, or the things that come with it, or it is not that easy to rally if you don't go Lord in your life. It's really much more difficult. Like I realized when I was running my business as Kemar Saffrey and non-Christian, that for me that was difficult to get jobs at that time. It was difficult to keep afloat. It was difficult. But then I find out that as you come to Christ and you bring something like this to the form, or Christ brought something like this to you, to be able to tackle it, well, has it challenges, it still has a bigger God in your background working. So it's like having staff working while you're sleeping. Yeah.
Unless the Lord builds a house, they that labor
Correct.
in vain.
Labor in vain.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you've mentioned some of the struggles that you've had. You've mentioned some of the struggles that you've had with the business thus far, about the charity thus far. What are some of those struggles that you find?
I don't think people always ask me struggles. I don't think it's necessarily struggle, but understanding just who you are as a person and within it. No, everything is doesn't come without struggles or without challenge. I just look at struggles and challenges as something as another hurdle to climb, but a hurdle that I can climb. Not a brick wall of China that I can't get over. So I don't really call things challenges or struggles. And when I see a problem within what I'm doing, for the lack of a better word, is the question if it's really within the purpose of God, within the alignment of God. And if it isn't there, then it's a matter of just going where I'm supposed to go. If I can't attain that level, just attaining what level God wants me to. And because I have a life that when I start to go left, is somewhere I have to go. Okay, we're about right. So my challenges are not as evident as people think they are. It is not one where I worry about money. It is not one where we worry about staffing. It's not one where we worry about clients. It's not one where we're worrying about the evident things of norm. It's one where I just, you're on God path, and if I go this way, hoping to get care back that way so you can become on track. Because I just believe because it's something of God, I can always go to God and say, well, look, that's your company, that's your organization, you deal with that. And even though that sound to some people like, you, seriously? It's just the relationship I have. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you what motivates you, but come out of it.
Yeah, there's no physical thing that motivates me. There's no person. It's just, and I think the satisfying, the satisfaction of seeing people move from one level to the next. What satisfies the on top of that is what also satisfies me is the fact that when person said, well, look, that homeless person can never be helped, or that person could never be this, and it challenges me to say, well, look, you talking foolishness, you don't know what you're talking. Everybody want help. It's just you gotta know how to approach the help or how to do this, and then they do it, and then they say, oh, yep, that person could be, and it motivates you for the next person. It motivates you for the next person because you're helping the right people. You're seeing, even if it's a change to one, it's still a change. Even if they change their appearance, let's say they have bushy hair today, and I could convince them to get a haircut so they can look better tomorrow. That's good for me. If their clothes was musty, and I could convince them to change their clothing to fresh clothing, that's satisfying. It always gotta be the big thing. Or you take them off the street, it's like a stepping stone to that day.
Yeah.
And that is motivation to the next. But when we look at before and after pictures, when we look at the person attitude, how it was think when it come before they came here, I know when they leave here, the approach is much better. There's no better motivation than that. Yeah, small things in people's life, big things could lead to big things. Yeah.
Good. So, my other question would have been, do you think that we're really doing enough here in Barbados to help the homeless and those who are in need?
I generally, within that question, I don't feel that we are doing enough to really address the notion of homelessness, and as it relates to, on a broader picture, helping people. I find that we tend to, as a country, we tend to brush certain things on the carpet, and because we like to show we pretty buildings and we pretty beach and we pretty sand and sightseeing as it relates to tourism, but I find that we do little to support that element of people that are in need. Where we have departments that are set up to help people, I don't think that we're doing enough. I don't think that it is reaching enough, and it may not all be at the blame of the agency, but blame at policy and blame at, so everybody have to kind of share in the blame as it relates to if it is the government offices or the government ministers or the policies surrounding it. And I don't think that we've done enough. And surprising, over the 10 years that I've seen, I think that there is a lot no more that could be done, but a lot more that has not been done.
So what are some of those things that you think that we could and should do to help those?
As it relates to home, as it relates to people, the welfare system I believe is long and due for overhauling. And I believe it should not be called the welfare system. I believe it should be called the social development agency, where you provide social development for people to be able to get to the next level. I believe that also that the policy surrounding when somebody's in need of help, that is not prioritized properly by a needs assessment list, where you said, well, let me analyze the person between 1 to 5 and see how that person. So let's say the person is on the street with a woman on the street with 4 children. That has to be priority number 1. It can't be priority 5. That has to be weighed on a scale to say, well, this person needs quick assessment. So a lot of these things, as I look at the people outside, the voucher systems, we give people vouchers, but if you don't have anywhere to put the food, when you give them $100 voucher, where are they going to put these things? So there's so much things as it relates to how we fix these things. We don't have housing and consistency for people that for a victim. I believe every constituency in Barbados should have a house for 5 victims. So once they could be housing their house, they could be every 5 victims they house in that particular house. You don't have housing solution for people. Right now, I believe that Barbados should be moving towards container housing. You know, and having people within container houses for short term, or we should be building houses where in the original state it was meant for when they build the industrial areas for the houses like pine and stuff for short term rental units. You build it for short, but you have a program attached to that gets that person back into mainstream, not 20 years. You have to have that person back in mainstream side within 6 months to a year so that the house can be transitional all the time. We don't have proper halfway system for those that are mentally unstable. You don't have proper policy as it relates to homeless people that are on the road that has serious mental problems and becoming a nuisance to the public. But how do we address these things? You understand? How do we deal with these things? We're not dealing with them effectively. So a lot of times the issue stays still there. And we think that we are dealing with issues, but it's being swept underneath the carpet. There's a lot of ways to deal with the social fabric of Barbados, or better yet, but it's not being done. It can't be done by people that are you're bringing in based on fancy recommendations, but they have no knowledge of the Barbados. You have to start programs within the school on how to address people that in need. And need the social welfare or whatever. You need to start that from at the prison. You need to start from at the psyche. You know, start that from within the home and wherever you have it. If you don't start it there, then the problem is just being helped by
So a lot of times, because I like what you said, because we can't wait until there's an issue then to be reactive and deal with it. We must also have preventative measures. And then too, a lot of what I'm hearing is not really following through. So there are ideas of things that can be done, but then the execution or the follow through is somewhat shaky.
Yeah, it's very, very much so shaky. And they said, sometimes you're overlooked by the fact that you're not this person, or you're not doctor this, or you're not. I know disrespect to people with the degrees, but sometimes they're not the persons on the ground. The ministers or the government is not people on the ground. We're the persons on the ground. We're the persons doing the work. But sometimes you feel like you're overlooked because you're not the doctor this, you're not tied to a political party, you're not tied to the particular minister or whatever the case may be. So you can't get the opportunity to change it. But if you were given that one opportunity to change it, and the changes that you put down will follow through, there's just the way you're going to give the person that are close to ministers or the doctoral degrees a chance to make a change. Give the person the chance on the ground to make the change, because here's what, they've been making the change far greater than those that are just sitting behind a desk and just come in and saying, hey, what's the problem? And with me, you don't have to come and say, I now need to go and do a analysis or an assessment of the problem. My analysis and assessment of the problem have been done for years. I'm just telling you, give me a chance to fix it. And once you give me a chance to fix it, you can see the difference. But if you think that the only chance you could give is those that are close to you, and then you still fall in the same trap because they still have to end up coming to people like me, the problem then remains the same.
They don't have the first-hand knowledge. So I think it's very necessary that we are able to work hand in hand with each other, because if you already have been putting in the groundwork with what little you have, then I think the most sensible thing to do is that we partner with the persons that know what's going on. And even if they're even in the making of policies, those persons who are putting in the groundwork should be part of the committees that are making those policies, so that the persons that they're intended for can best benefit from.
Yeah, they have to be stakeholders. They have to be a part of everything. I think that persons tend to find people like myself or any of us in the end, or when something go wrong. Nah. And I always try to distance myself from being a patch-up boy for anybody. You have to find ways to involve, and don't give me the cocky excuse that we had to do this and we had to do that and this was the reason. No. Why now I'm at the end, I'm a part of it. Why now at the end you find time for me? Involve people so that the things can be done.
So I really hope that you're watching this and that we can have some type of change, because we can only go so far alone. We have to work together. This is our nation and we must work together so that we can make it the best. And if we have people with the knowledge, people with the experience, then I only think when you go to a job, even if you have degrees, they want to know about experience.
And knowledge
Exactly.
in the field. 10 years experience within this field. Still they want a degree, but yet they want 10 years experience in this field.
Yeah.
So the experience is a must for people. It's a plus. Some people will forget the degree just because you have the experience.
Exactly. So then why should it be any different
Correct.
when it comes to the setting of policies? So tell us about your visit with the Queen, but we know that you would have received, it was an award for being the 7th point of light in the Caribbean for the work that you've been doing.
Yes. Many persons have thought that I always was awarded by the Queen because I met her in the initial stages. I was never awarded by her. I visited the Queen. I was awarded while I was there visiting her. But the 7 Point of Life award was an award that she gave out to an individual in every country underneath the Commonwealth for extraordinary work done in humanitarian work and otherwise. And I was the 7th one that was selected for within the Commonwealth, but also was the one that received it for Barbados. I then think further they would have actually put 2 persons in Barbados, and Corey Lane then became one of the recipients. I think he was down in 50 something, but he became one of the recipients after. But yeah, I became the 7th point of awarded by the Queen with signatory and everything, certificate by her for the work that we've been doing here with the homeless.
And I think you guys have been doing a very excellent job.
Thank you.
So, what are some other businesses that you're a part of? Do you have any other businesses under your belt, I should say?
That's the thing, is I'm a part of so much things. Other than this, because I was always a serial entrepreneur, so I can never keep quiet. Every year is a new business. Every year is a new venture. From right now, I'm out of the ice cream businesses, but I had 5 ice cream parlors. I've been in a lot of business, from clothing to furniture to cleaning to valet service to fruit business, to security business, consultancy, you name it. But more so, my focus is on more app development using the technology side, data selling, selling of data. More on finding things that could be more meaningful or more impactful without a large overhead. So you're in an age of data. So through the apps that I would have asked to be built, I can't build any. Thankful I got a good team that does build those stuff. But from that, it's just taking the data and selling it back to people. And we're now open a print shop. So print in town, that's another business I'm into. And opening a conference center in town, so that's another business that I'm into. And anything to do with consultancy, and I'm just all over the place when it comes to business. I'm not necessarily a person that is stick at one place. I quite uncomfortable sticking at one place. So I was a serial.
So I think that's pretty good moving forward. So just tell us, what are your goals? What are your long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm thinking about it, and some things. One is that I'm now beginning the steps to write a book. But I actually want to write 2 books. One starting first would be the autobiography, because a lot of people tend to be interested in my past life or future life. Then I want to do one more called How to Start a Business Without Money. So
I want one.
Yeah, so that's going to be another step. After that, too, probably the politics side of things. The reason why politics for me is because I want to be able to commission change from policy. A lot of things that we see happening within our community is always to do with the always to do with the policy that we have that is out there that we need change. Archaic policy that needs changing to make people life easier. That's why I said like a simple policy like you removing office of the out of the books where people cannot be anyone come to welfare, they have to find the deposit before you find the right. Before the government can rent the property, that's silly in this day and age. So I would prefer to have to be in the right place in politics that I say, well, let me move this because it doesn't make sense. Because in today's area where people need help, you would need to remove that policy
Yeah.
to go further.
So in our closing, what message would you give, do you have for the youth out there?
You know, I still consider myself a youth. I don't know if you still consider
Or
me.
even for the greater,
Yeah. I think one of the things that we have to look at, to share my message to the youth, is that first of all, as youth, we are required, I don't know why, but it is, we're required to show our strength and we're required to show who we are a little bit more than our past folks, because of how we live now and what we see as society today. And I think that the whole thing of being a youth, it has come to that, where we are expected as youth to, in some, based on culture, based on country, people expect that we are supposed to be on the block, we're supposed to be smoking, we're supposed to be drinking, we're supposed to be going to jail because that's evidently what's going on. But the thing for me is to position or to give to the youth the ability that they are young and they are strong. The Bible said we will be given visions, and we need to rally around each other, rally around the youth that we see and push them. And wherever we can play a role, the ones that have gone on, give back and push those youth, because every youth has want to be somewhere. Everybody's thinking entrepreneur, but then they're asking the question, where do I go? What do I do? Who to help? And I had that problem too. Who do I ask? Who do I go to? Where do I go for help? And we just need to provide that avenue that they don't give up, and I encourage you not to give up. And while things may knock you down, and while people may spit in your face, while people may have negative things to say about you and say to you, that the whole idea is continue with that vision, continue with that focus, and go forward. Go forward. Never prove it to anyone though, but prove it to yourself. Because I think we get wrapped up in trying to prove to people that we're better than they are better than them, but prove it to yourself. Because as soon as you try to prove to somebody one thing, you find out in your whole entire life you happen to be proving to somebody all the time.
Yeah.
But proving to yourself that you are better than what people think you are or what people say you are, and moving forward. Challenges there. Find ways. Ask questions. There's a one time when I said there's no stupid question, there's only stupid answers. So you can never ask a stupid question because you don't know, you ask. And pushing yourself forward and forward and forward to get to that place that you need to get, so that you can be able to reach the goals that you need to reach. And no matter what, keep pushing. And I encourage you to find Jesus and put him among whatever you do. And if you don't believe me, I would only tell you to try it, or try him, to see for yourself and go forward from there.
Well, thank you so very much. And I think that you close us off with a very good note. And I just want to encourage you to continue the work that you've been doing here. And I just hope that we too as a nation will rally around you guys and, be able to contribute in whatever ways we can. And you can let us know what ways we can contribute as well. In fact, let us know now, how can we contribute?
Well, there's always a volunteer programs here. Persons want to volunteer. Our numbers are 53 82480, or you can check our website, www.baehcare.org, or Google the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness. And you'll see us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we are here in Spice Street, Bridgetown. And persons could help. If they want to donate, they could either go to First Caribbean account, Republic Bank, First Caribbean Bank, Republic Bank, Scotia Bank to donate to us. There's also SurePay. You only have to say the name of the organization. And account 794 if you want to go on your PayPal through our website. If you also want to use your mobile app, Kate Shepherd mobile app, to transfer funds to us as well, you can do that. But there's lots of ways you can assist both financially and donation of any kind, whether it be clothing, food stuff, whether it be your time, whether if you want to give back in some going on the streets and looking for homeless. There's so much things you could give, and all you have to do is come to the office, fill out the application, and process is done from there, so we know who's working with us, and we go from there.
All right, so it's pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
All right, so we end this evening on a good note, and all that's left to say is go out there and let your light shine.